GM. GM. Right. So today I'm going to cover a few things that I think are lining up for the rest of the year. Ready for the rest of the bull run. And this is just a collection of my ideas and thoughts so far. First thing, ETH ETF, if approved. Let me make this smaller, I think. The ETH ETF, if it gets approved, is probably going to mark the end, or not the end, but will catalyze the last leg of this bull run. So why do I say that? Well, first thing, you have to look at the total market cap, right? Crypto market's been going up for 546 days now, 78 weeks. Okay? Don't fall for the trap of anyone who says, and you can ignore this. I mean, maybe that'll happen. Wouldn't be surprised. Let's say just check. Interesting one to check. But regardless, that's not what I'm saying. And that's not what this is about. So I'll get rid of it. People are going to come out of the woodwork and tell you how it's all going so much higher and we're just getting started and the ETH ETF is just the beginning, not the end, and because your fucking shitcoin hasn't pumped yet that you don't need to worry, it's all going to go. All false. Bullshit. The market will end whenever it ends, and if we were to have an extended run into 2025 on this rally, you really need to see probably down or sideways for several months before that move, right? That's more what you're looking for if you want to see an extended run. If this Ethereum ETF just kicks off, fucking boom, away we go, and we break out, make no mistake, we're going to have an aggressive run, and then that's probably it. Because you cannot go up vertically forever. Alternatives that you can do, you can sort of grind higher. It takes longer with like lowering momentum. That can take you into 2025, right? Pushes up, drops back, pushes up, drops back, pushes up. Lower momentum, falls down. Regardless of the path, it doesn't go up forever, right? If you're looking at the bull run we had from COVID lows, went up for 420 days and then peaked at 600 days. Right? It's actually 1 week back. That's from the COVID lows and the FTX lows. Let's take those. So we're up 580 weeks and 87 weeks. That's it, right? So people who want to cope, they'll drag it all the way back to here. Oh no, this was actually the bottom. That was actually the bottom. So the bull market was 1,000 days. But it wasn't. It wasn't. The bull market kicked off after COVID with the money printing. And if you're trying to use that logic of saying that all of this matters, then you're saying that somehow we are currently only like there. But look at that move. That move barely came off the lows. We're almost at all-time highs. It doesn't take a genius to figure out where we're at. And we're somewhere mid-stage. Late stage? Don't think so. Not super late. We're definitely not early. And if you look at what it really is, your bear market ends, okay? You have a consolidation. Your bear market ends, you have a consolidation. Right? It comes off the lows and consolidates. You then have your first rally. Second. Now there doesn't need to be a 50% correction, even though that would probably be healthy. China's not going to ban crypto again, right? Or whatever Black Swan would cause it. And so if you don't get that, then, we're going into leg 3. It's really it. We have the first push, second push, This is the third push. If this is the third push, you should play it as if it's the last push. Don't be delusional. Now, can we go down after and then go up again? Sure. Right, but let's just take a look at this 2015 until 2017 bull run. That one lasted for 1,000 days. Right, from the very bottom to the very top, and that one did go pretty much up all the way. But crypto was moving from literally fucking zero, like a 2 billion market cap, all the way up. So a lot of this is really irrelevant in terms of measurement from way back there, because so much of it was just growth from zero. This was new people just coming and buying, and it was never going to go even anywhere remotely close to going back there. It's a completely different structure. So anyway, cause and effect always remains the most powerful impact on the markets after supply and demand. If there's enough demand, we keep going up. If there's lack of supply, we keep going up. People don't want to sell, good, we'll go up. But anyway, so the ETH ETF, if approval, catalyzed the last leg of this bull run. I think of this very, very, very simply. What did we have from October until March? We had the ETF rally. Okay? And forget how much it went up. Let's just look at that move. This was Bitcoin ETF. So that was the catalyst for that rally. Quite clearly, the catalyst for the next rally is going to be, from these lows, is going to be ETH ETF. Okay? What's the odds that an ETH ETF is going to be of a greater magnitude in terms of its effect than the Bitcoin ETF? It did ETF. ETH. It's probably not. Nothing is bigger than the Bitcoin ETF. And I think that's something to keep in mind too. Far from being bearish here, I am so fucking bullish. Because the last leg of the bull is where 70 or 80% of the gains come. That's when stuff goes fucking crazy, triples overnight, 5x's in a week. You see some insane shit. This is the time. I think there's probably 6 months left of guaranteed bullish action. And when I say that, I want to clarify, you can guarantee bullish action for probably at least 6 more months. That doesn't mean that stuff won't top, right? We could top in July and then go like that for months, and there's still bullish action. Remember, Luna kept running until March of 2022, even though the bull market ended in November of 21. And there were other coins that topped in December. There was NFTs that were still pumping in January. The market is inefficient and people don't know the bull is over. So there's always going to be volatility. The thing that is most destructive is a lack of volatility. At a certain point, the market accepts that the bull is over, and then we just bleed down. Bleed. Now, you can trade on the short side, sure. But it's not the same. Because you can't get 10x pumps on spot. You can't get new NFT mint that just fucking triples your money like magic. The easy money leaves and you go into a downtrend. But it's not when Bitcoin tops, it's not even when Ethereum tops. There's always opportunity, even after that. So when I say 6 months like that, I mean, I don't know if the top is going to come this year. I don't know if it's going to come next year. I don't have a clue. What I do know, confidently, is that for at least the next 6 months, there's going to be opportunity somewhere. And maybe it goes beyond that. Maybe we go into 2025. But I know for sure we've got 6 months of it. There'll be something going off. There's plenty of charts setting up well. There's coins here like total trash, like Litecoin, which is one of the things I want to talk about actually. Litecoin is going to have a fucking mega run at some point. Right? You can see it already. This is so fucking obvious. We just don't know when. And that's the thing with Litecoin. Maybe it goes like this, and then it has this big move, probably only reaches like that this cycle, doesn't go anywhere near its all-time high. And there's a big move of maybe 3 or 4x magnitude on Litecoin. Don't think it can happen? Bookmark it. Fucking come back to this. It just does. It fucking always does. But that is probably a sign of the end, not the start. And that probably comes after the majority of Ethereum's gains are done, Solana's are done, Bitcoin's done, and then fucking boom, Litecoin goes on this random 1 or 2 month pump, and then back to zero, where it belongs. Tron. Another one. Like, look at this fucking shit. That's not even a bad chart. Tron's in a fucking crazy monthly uptrend, has been for years now. And Tron can very easily continue to chop in that area, and then all of a sudden just fucking roof. Because that's actually a good setup. And everyone's like, holy shit, Tron's the future of... It's not the future of anything. Right? And these things are just building and building and building that energy for their last exit pump, essentially, to sucker people in and make the insiders rich. Charlie Lee, Justin Sun. And that's what I mean about opportunity being everywhere, right? The opportunity is going to be there in certain coins at certain times. If you look at a really good example here of Tron, this is Tron in April of 2018. April. Look at that move. Went from 3 cents to 9 cents. Tron 3x'd in April 2018, sorry. Do you want to know what Bitcoin was doing then? Bitcoin and ETH? Fucking dead. Right? Bitcoin doing a complacency bounce. After getting brutally wrecked. Bitcoin topped at 20k. In April, Bitcoin went from 6k up to 9k. After coming down from 20. So it was down over 50%. It was down 70% and had a little pop. Tron tripled. There's always opportunity until people truly know it's over. So, as a trader, and this is why you're learning to trade, and this is what I preach so much. As a trader, you're learning to make money when markets move. All you need is for them to move. You don't need every coin to be going up for you to make money. That's just people. If you buy and hold anything in a bear market, eventually you'll just wake up one day and the market will be rising, and you leave it for a few months and the market rises again, right? If you just bought Tron, which is not like a great, not really a great thing to buy, but there's worse. If you just bought Tron after the FTX collapse or in November, December, where the bands went green and you just fell asleep for a year, you literally fell asleep for a year, Tron went up 120%. That phase of the market is done, where you just buy, fall asleep, and everything goes up. This is coming to the acceleration phase, where more trading is required, where some stuff will go like this and big accelerations, other stuff won't. And I'll show you like the example of 2 different coins. So this is Tron. Let's imagine Tron does this. Chops around, has its pump at early next year. But in the next 2 months, between May and July, there's going to be another coin that's breaking out here now. And it's running up in the next 2-3 months. And then it dies from there, right? The market is going to be more dispersed than ever. There's opportunity here if you're in the right coin. There's opportunity here if you're in the right coin. And it doesn't mean that you go and chase every single coin all across the market that's pumping. The point is supposed to be, if you focus, stay in tune, stay in touch, get your head down, the next 6 months will have opportunity everywhere if you're working hard enough and you're looking for it and you're patient and you have a little bit of luck, you'll do well. So, ETH ETF will catalyze the last leg of this bull run. Now, people will tell you, and they'll want to tell you, well, no, but if Trump wins the presidency, that's going to give a new leg of life to the bull market. Look, the only thing that matters is the long-term holder base. Once they start to exit Bitcoin and ETH, that's it. We're on borrowed time. We're already probably one big leg away from the long-term holders really exiting on Bitcoin. Because again, it's gone up from 15k to 75 over the space of a year and a half. And it might have another year in it. It might have another 9 months. It might have another 6 months. We don't know. But eventually it will run out of steam. And then other stuff will go. Maybe Ethereum. Maybe Solana. But once the big players start to exit Bitcoin and ETH, that is when the market's on its last legs. So that doesn't mean that you have to FOMO. It doesn't mean you don't really even have to do anything different. You just need to be aware of it. You do not want to fall into the psyop trap of people saying this time is going to be different. This time is different because XYZ. Well, Bitcoin ETF, it doesn't get much bigger. Now, Bitcoin ETF can keep bringing in billions of dollars and keep rising. We had a strong day yesterday. BlackRock had like over 200 million of inflows. Bitcoin ETFs are still strong. ETH ETFs will come along. Will they be good? Will they be bad? Don't know. We'll see. But outside of like the Fed going full QE again, those are like the biggest events that we could have this cycle. And they're the events that are going to make the long-term holders think, this is probably time to take some profits. Now, other things I'm looking at. ETH ETF will approve catalyze the last leg of bull run. Solana, Fire Dancer will catalyze its biggest move. Q3 or 4. These are just some of the narratives I see. Solana and Base continue to be meme coin centers. ETH, main chain, is where real projects shine. The next ETF will be a narrative. Doge, LTC, BCH, because of Coinbase CFTC futures. You can look that up if you want. NFTs on ETH will run again. Expensive ones. I don't think you're going to see all like 10,000 profile picture, all that shit from last cycle. I think the OG blue chip, if you want to call them that, NFTs will be the winners on Solana. Or sorry, on Ethereum. That's going to be stuff like CryptoPunks, Miladies, fucking maybe Bored Apes, although Bored Apes seem a bit wrecked. Pudgy Penguins, shit like that. And then election. Election narrative. Should, that's a big should, right? Nothing's ever guaranteed. Should last until November, obviously with the election. And then when I say real projects that shine on Ethereum, I'm talking like real world assets. That could be stuff like Ondo, Link, and others. This is not me telling you what's going to happen. This is what's most likely to happen in my opinion. I'll explain it all. ETH ETF will catalyze the last leg of this bull run. To me, that's obvious. It's a rerun of the Bitcoin ETF, but it's a weaker rerun. In every bull market we've ever had since Ethereum's existed, Bitcoin runs first. Bitcoin gets the whole market lifted. Then Ethereum runs after Bitcoin. And Ethereum's run is big. But it's also a sign that the market is abandoning Bitcoin to move on to ETH, and ETH is not as strong, it's not as sexy, it's not as big, it's not as established as Bitcoin, and it's usually a sign that the market is progressing towards its later stages. Maybe this time's different, but I don't think it will be. Solana Firedancer. Firedancer is like this new validator set that Jump Trading are building, which in theory they say can make it handle, I think, 1 million transactions per second. The short answer, or the kind of TLDR of what Firedancer is, if it works, is it fixes all of Solana's problems with the congestion on the chain and it breaking whenever it gets busy. And that will create a lot of hype around Solana being the fucking absolute best thing ever for high frequency on-chain trading. And everyone will tell you how the Nasdaq's going to be on Solana. Solana's going to be the Wall Street fucking, super fast, super cheap chain. Whether it is or not doesn't really matter. I think Solana Firedancer, which is, according to Anatoly, the head of Solana, according to him, it's going to be, I think he said there's a 50% chance that it comes before September. 50% chance. So I would assume it doesn't, because in crypto stuff never ships on time. So that's why I'd say Q3 or Q4. Let's say by the end of the year, we see Firedancer. It's in testnet already. Has been since 2022, I believe. Or started being built in 2022. I think testnet went live last year. When that gets going, Solana is probably in the midst of a big run, and I don't think Solana gets much bigger after that. Solana and Base continue to be meme coin centers. So you've seen now Ethereum starting to move, and people are like, oh, let's look at the Ethereum meme coins. Don't get me wrong, Pepe will do well. Other ETH meme coins can absolutely do well. Don't forget, Ethereum is where memes began after Doge. You had Doge run, but then everything else last cycle was really on Solana. Fucking Solana. Was on Ethereum. You had SHIB, which is an ERC20. You had Flocky, all the other dog coins, they were all ERC20s. Pretty much all of them, right? You did have some small meme coins on other chains. But I don't think Ethereum is going to be the meme coin place, because the dynamics of the market have changed this cycle, and people who want to trade meme coins want fast, cheap. Solana and Base are both fast and cheap, and most importantly, they're proven. People have made 100x's on Solana with Bonk, with Whiff, etc., etc., etc. People have made 100x's on Base with Toshi, with Brett, etc., etc., etc. I think that will continue to be the place to play if you're playing with lower liquidity, smaller coins, trying to get the big returns. Meme coin traders will probably not migrate away from Solana or Base. I think that's where it'll remain. Base is also connected to Coinbase. Coinbase is probably set for a good year as the custodian for ETFs for both Bitcoin and Ethereum for most of the issuers, as well as having a strong business, as well as having, a great chart, Coin itself, right? Coin, the stock. Zoom out onto the monthly. Coin is in an early stage uptrend. Flip the monthly bands to green. Looking decent here. Once it breaks above 285 towards 300, it probably goes for all-time highs. Coinbase hitting all-time highs. Coin, the stock, hitting all-time highs is one of your signals. Doesn't mean when it hits it that it's over. Doesn't mean it will even get there. But that's a place to really sit up and take notice if and when it gets there. And Ethereum main chain is where real projects shine. Why would this be? Ethereum's where the big money is. The total value locked on Ethereum is 60 billion. On Solana, it's 5 billion. And on Base, it's like 2 billion. Right, so TVL is how much is actually on those chains. You see Ethereum, 64 billion. You see Solana, less than 5. You see Base, less than 2. So there's bigger money on Ethereum. Always has been, always will be. And I think especially if Ethereum gets the ETF, you have to think about the second order, third order consequences. What does that mean? That de-risks crypto as a whole. Because people on Wall Street will look and say, wait a minute, I've been told for the past year that Bitcoin is good. Larry Fink told me Bitcoin's good. He told me it's a flight to quality, it's digital gold, it's a store of value. So I understand Bitcoin. I've bought Bitcoin ETF. That makes sense to me. My boss won't fire me because he said Larry Fink said it's good. Oh wait, now I've got an ETH ETF. Oh, I thought ETH was a security, but then the SEC approved it for an ETF. It must not be a security. That means there's less risk. Larry Fink says Ethereum's good. BlackRock have stuff on chain. BlackRock have their tokenized BIDL fund, BUIDL fund on Ethereum. And I think when you've Larry Fink out there shilling tokenize everything, which he's been saying, he wants to tokenize the whole fucking financial system. That's going to be a big benefit to Ethereum for real projects. Probably for VCs to start putting money back into crypto with less risk. Remember, a lot of them, VCs and Wall Street types, they got wrecked last cycle by being late and buying Luna and buying the top and getting in the FOMO, really. This will probably breathe life into real projects. I say real with big air quotes because I think everything is broadly a grift anyway. But stuff like Ondo, Link, I'm not saying those are the two to buy, by the way. I'm saying Ondo is real world assets. Link is a critical part of crypto infrastructure, and Link allows this tokenization and Oracle price feeds, etc., across the ecosystems. I don't know if Link's going to be good, although Link is pretty liquid and fairly decent supply dynamics, meaning if you go and look at Link, one of the things you want to avoid, right, everyone knows this, one of the things you want to avoid is low float, high fully diluted value. Link has not got the best supply dynamics, but it's not got bad ones either. The market cap's 10 billion, the fully diluted 16. So there's over half the tokens have been emitted. So there's still inflation to come on Link, but it's not as bad as some of this new stuff. Like, what's an example of a new one? Like Athena, right? Where Athena has 1.2 and it's got 12. So only 10% of Athena supply is circulating. So that means over the next several years, 90% of all the tokens in existence for Athena are going to be emitted. That's going to just dilute things. And that's the same for so many of these projects. You want to look at stuff that's fully vested or close to fully vested. 60, 70, 80% of the token supply is already emitted. Check your emission schedules. And then focus on stuff that's in the real world asset category if it's on Ethereum. I think that's the best thing to focus on if you're just looking at Ethereum. Not Base, not Arbitrum, Ethereum main chain. If you're on those, your Pendles. And most of these are still quite small. Like this is the RWA category. There's only one of them that's over $1 billion. Now Ondo does not have great supply dynamics, right? 1.4 circulating, 10 billion total. So only 14% of Ondo's supply is circulating. There is a lot of inflation to come on Ondo. So you need to check the tokenomics. When is that emitting? When are the unlocks? Not saying Ondo's great, not saying Ondo's terrible, but it's a real world asset project. Look into those if you're looking at what coins to buy, right? And this whole sector is probably undervalued based upon what's now changing with Ethereum. With Ethereum ETF, it's going to probably catalyze an interest in real world assets, stuff on chain, on Ethereum, and they can do well. So check those out. The next ETF will be a narrative. Doge, Litecoin, Bitcoin. So Coinbase have created CFTC regulated futures. They did this in April with Doge, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. Those are the only three currently that can have an ETF. If we're going by the SEC's own logic, which is first you need to have a regulated futures market. You have to understand, Solana can't have an ETF yet because the SEC will say we have no data to show that Solana is real. All we can see is what's happening on Binance and Bybit and futures markets there. Coinbase, Spot, sure, but they'll look at it and say, well, there's no proof here that Solana's futures price and spot price are actually in line. This was one of the big contention points with Bitcoin. Bitcoin had CME futures for 6 years, from 2017. Top of the market. Ethereum has had CME futures for 3 or 4 years. The next ones, which Coinbase just put live last month, are Doge, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash. The reason those ones were chosen is because they're all proof of work, first of all, so they're less likely to be classed as securities. And it doesn't mean these will get ETFs. I don't think they will, and I don't think it comes this year. I think At minimum, they need a year. My guess is they need a year of having these futures markets live. That makes sense to me because if I was the SEC, I'd look and say, okay, show us a regulated futures market for the next asset with at least a year of history so we can actually track how close the futures price is to the spot price, because that's what they base it off of. If you read the documents for approving and rejecting previous Bitcoin ETFs, that was one of the big points of contention. So that will become a narrative at some point. If I had to say which one's best, I would probably say Dogecoin because it has multiple narratives. It's recognizable, it's retail friendly, people know it. It fits the meme category as well, and we know memes are hot. So Doge probably best out of those. Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, the only thing they have going for them is the Coinbase thing. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to make the market really want to own them. But people will want to own people will want to own Doge, not just for the ETF narrative, but also for the meme coin narrative, the Elon potential. Maybe Elon brings it back. Maybe Elon puts it into, Twitter, integrates it into X. And again, not saying to buy these things. I'm saying these are the most clear narratives I see and the areas to look into and focus on. NFTs on ETH will run again. This one's obvious. Maybe too obvious, but I don't think it's too obvious. I think that if Ethereum goes to 5 or 6K, that's going to make a lot of Ethereum whales extremely wealthy because Ethereum has billionaires on its chain, right? And you're going to have a lot of people making a lot of money if Ethereum even goes up by 100%. That adds $450 billion to the market cap. That's a lot of money. It's a very liquid chain relative to the rest. NFTs are probably what people go to in order to flex their wealth. It won't be new stuff. It'll be old stuff, in my opinion. It'll be the blue chips, the OGs, the CryptoPunks, the Miladies, the fucking, pudgy penguins, stuff like that. And the election narrative. That one's obvious. As long as the market stays good and we go up for the next few months, the election narrative should really kick off with Trump, Biden, maybe some vice president coins, maybe some fucking Baron Trump, Trump's son, whatever. Could be anything. Those are just very much trades. These are not coins you want to fucking buy and hold for long term. These are not investments. This is all trading. We're getting into the trading part of the cycle. I don't think you can just buy, hold, close your eyes and go to sleep for a year. Can you buy and hold stuff and just hold it for 3 or 4 months? Absolutely. Sure. But, don't think that you can just suddenly have easy money by buying anything. And this is probably like the main point of what I want to say. The next part of the bull, if we get it, is going to see massive price appreciation, but not for everything. And that's why I've picked out these sections. Hypothetically, if you were to find some Ethereum exposure, some Solana exposure, you were to focus on Solana and Base for memes, you were to focus on real world assets on Ethereum, you were to pick maybe Doge or one of these shit coins, you were to look into an NFT on Ethereum and have some election coins. Hypothetically, if you held all of those, I think your portfolio would grow. Now, should you hold all of those? Probably not, because that's a lot of, it's probably too many different coins and NFTs. But right now, today, and I'll update it if anything changes, I don't see how anything else outperforms that unless something new comes along. Something new will always come along, don't forget. There's always something new that we don't know about, right? We didn't know about crypto gaming until Axie Infinity blew up in July 2021. Crypto gaming didn't exist in March 2020, July 2020, August 2020, September 2020, December, January. It didn't exist in February. Didn't exist in April 2021 when the whole market was flying. Didn't exist, right? It only started to kick off in earnest after July. So there's always going to be new stuff that pops up. And that's why you have to stay in touch, of course. And I'll update you all the time, as I always do, with anything I see that's growing. But these are currently the best places to focus. So that's where I think you should form your ideas and your thesis around. So that's it. GM. Talk soon.